Okay, so in this video, we're going to take a quick look at how we might automate the process of splitting an Excel file into separate Excel files, uh, based on a specific column or values within a column in an Excel file. So we've got a little example here. So this represents sales data for some stores in various towns. And what we want to do is split this data into separate files, one for each region in this file. So obviously we don't want to have to filter this data and copy and paste the data out into separate files manually. We want to find a way of automating that. So we're going to use Loadit for this, obviously, and the first step we'll do here is open a Loadit package that I created earlier. So once I've shown you this in action, we'll go through the steps of actually creating this Loadit package. But for now, it's just enough to know that this is a pre-saved series of steps which I set up earlier. Okay, so we've got obviously our source file here, and then over here we've got an output folder. No, not that. Exports. There we go. So let's clear those out. So that's now empty. This folder here. So when I run the package, it will load the data in from Excel. It'll split the data into separate data sets and write out to Excel separate file for each data set we've got there. So the process is then just to simply run the package, and we'll see over here we've now got a file for England, and we've got a file for Scotland, for example, and the relevant records are in each of those files. So once this is all set up, the process is really that simple. So you just literally open the package, run the package, and it'll split the files out. Okay, so let's have a little look at how I created those steps in Loadit. So Loadit obviously creates a package of data processing steps. So the first step we want is to read data in from an Excel file. So to do that, we add an Excel module into our package and browse to the file we're reading in and tell it which worksheet to read in. Okay, so then at this point, you can view the data. We can see our data there. There are all the rows that existed in that source Excel file. And then we want to split those rows. We want to split those rows into a separate data set for each region. So there's a module for doing that. There's a split module, which we add to our package here. And we want to just use a single expression here. And that expression is to use the region column as the basis for our split. Okay, so when we do that, we've got in our output from our second step in this package is a separate data set for each of those regions that were found in that region column, and then the corresponding rows. And then as a final step, we need a data target. We need to write that data out to an Excel workbook. In this case, so we're going to just link it to the split module there. We don't want to output it into a single workbook. We want to output it into a separate workbook per data set. And I'm going to browse to my computer. There we go. Let's see. There's that exports folder from before. We go back here and clear out those files. To close them down. Okay, so they're all empty. So we're just telling Loadit to write the data out into that folder. Okay, we won't bother with any of the other options in here. That's all we need for this simple example. So we'll press OK there. Now you can see that we've got our third step. Okay, so that's defined the steps. Obviously, there's nothing output yet because Loadit doesn't actually output anything until you run the package. At this stage, I could just save my package there, close it down, come back tomorrow, reopen my package, and my steps have been saved. So when I'm ready to actually run the package, maybe I'll run this weekly or monthly, depending on how often I have to distribute this data. But at the point where I want to actually run these steps, again, like we saw before, you press run and execute, and that will then produce the files split out by region. So that's it. Fairly simple example, but quite a powerful technique. Can save quite a bit of time. Okay, thank you very much.